Friday, November 9, and we have 3 days remaining before heading to our respective polling stations for local government elections. In the meantime, here's what's making the news. Authorities have mounted an investigation into the early morning emergency landing of Fly Jamaica Flight 0J256 at the Cheddi Jagan International Airport. Paul McAdam was at the airport and filed that report.
Investigations are ongoing following the emergency landing of Fly Jamaica Flight 0J256 early Friday morning. This was disclosed by Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson at a media briefing hosted at the Cheddi Jagan International Airport.
I like to express caution because there's a lot of speculations always happens when there's an incident like this. And so I'd ask you to be very responsible because obviously it is a very serious issue with airline travel and the confidence that persons would have in our ability to respond and look at these things.
Aircraft operations were initially suspended and the first flight following the accident left at 7:30 hours. It was initially scheduled to leave at 05:35 hours. Other flights were delayed by a few hours, but arrangements were made to facilitate their departure. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shamdev Prasad described the removal and the transportation of the 10 injured passengers as effective.
We were able to remove safely to the hospital 10 persons with a variety of expected sorts of injury when we have this measure of evacuation of the aircraft using the evacuation slides. So far we have 5 persons who are on the investigation for spinal injury investigation 4. So they're having further x-rays and so on done. Diamond Hospital at this point could not do everything, so we have 7 of them sent to Georgetown Hospital for further tests.
Director of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, Egbert Field, said that the CGIA's authorities will partner with the Public Health Ministry to offer counseling to the affected passengers.
This investigation will take some time, and I ask that you bear with us as we go through this investigation. An investigation is mainly to see exactly what caused the accident. It is not to cast blame on anyone, but it is used so that we can utilize, or the global industry can utilize this information for future safety elements which can be employed.
Initial feedback indicated that procedures were followed in accordance with the established emergency plan. All of the 128 persons on board were accounted for. The site is being secured by ranks of the Ghana Defence Force and the Ghana Police Force. For further information, persons can telephone numbers 261-2281 or 600-7022. From the Cheddi Jagan International Airport, Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Turning our attention to environmental news, Isaiah Braffett reports that a seminar was today hosted to bring awareness of the Regional Agreement on Access to Information, Public Participation and Justice in Environmental Matters, also known as the ESCAZU Agreement, to which Guyana is a signatory.
The seminar held at the Guyana Forestry Commission was a collaboration between the Department of Environment and the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean. During Environmental Affairs Officer David Lamarche highlighted the importance of persons being aware of the stipulations related to environmental work.
This seminar serves to create a platform between civil servants so that they raise their awareness of the rights, but also they can know each other and they can work collaboratively in a coordinated manner. We know the environment requires this approach, a collective approach, and therefore this is the main aim. So Guyana civil servants can know what the rights are, what they need to implement, and they also know that the international community, the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, is there to support them.
The stakeholders were informed on Principle 10 of the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development and its goal to give everyone a voice on the protection and development of communities. Stakeholders Management Coordinator Arita Ford said the agreement is in keeping with the government's Green State agenda.
By enacting this agreement, community members have a stronger and a much louder voice. And I say this because the rights of communities and the rights of the public access to information and to be consulted in projects that affect their homes, their lives, and their livelihoods are already enshrined in some of our acts and regulations. As you know, FPIC is one of those processes.
She encouraged the participants to use the seminar to grasp as much knowledge as possible to enact the principles under the agreement. The ESCASO agreement is the only of its kind that includes specific provisions regarding defenders of human rights in environmental matters. It also seeks to ensure that people can access justice in environmental matters, thereby contributing to the fulfillment of the UN 2030 Agenda and its Sustainable Development Goals. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
In the oil and gas sector, the Department of Energy has issued several tenders for international experts to, among other things, assist Ghana in a cost recovery audit and review of the LISA Phase 2 development plan. Director of the department, Dr. Mark Bino, in his first press conference since being appointed 3 months ago, noted the idea of the tenders is to build the department's capacity while ensuring a strong regulatory and legislative framework is set up to govern the oil and gas industry. The department is reviewing the current legal and regulatory framework for the sector. This includes the revision and possible replacement of legislation. It will also utilize external resources as it finalizes the local content policy and to conduct a needs assessment of the Environmental Protection Agency's readiness to regulate the oil and gas sector from an environmental perspective. Guyana and South Korea strengthened their relations with the establishment of a consulate in Georgetown. Tiffany Rodias reports.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Acting Prime Minister Carl Greenidge expressed the hope that the establishment of the consulate strengthens relations between the two countries.
This is something that we cherish, and we hope that the establishment of consuls such as Ramesh Duku's will help to ensure that we build an economic base on which the economic diplomacy on which we've embarked will thrive.
Ramesh Duku, Guyana's honorary consul to South Korea, officially opened the office, which is located at Banks DIH's Rotunda, Thirst Park. Duku was accredited last year as honorary consul.
My pledge to Guyana and South Korea is that I will serve in this position with the honor, dignity, and the integrity that befits this office.
South Korea charged the affairs at South Korea's embassy in Venezuela. Dong Il-oh noted the opening of a consul office comes on the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Guyana and Korea. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Still to come, indigenous communities to receive continued support from government after Amerindian Development Fund project comes to an end. Stay with us.
I'm urging that we all should go out and vote at the local government elections because it's important for us to choose who we would like to have be making decisions on our behalf. As a community in Linden, it's only right that we should be involved in making choices of those whom we would like to see represent us. Represent interests and for the betterment of our community in Linden. So I'm urging and appealing to all, come out and vote. Your vote is important. Every vote counts.
Minister of Public Health Waldo Lawrence today met with the ambassador of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta to Guyana, where they discussed the association's provision of medical services here. Delicia Haynes has the details.
Sovereign Military Order of Malta's ambassador to Guyana, His Excellency Roland de Rosière, has pledged to continue working with the Ministry of Public Health to promote good health and well-being in Guyana.
It's my fourth visit to Guyana and my second meeting with the Minister of Public Health, with whom we've had a good discussion about cooperation. Our cooperation is mainly in the health field, although we are a Catholic organization. And my little initiative when next week will be to go and give blood for the fourth time in Guyana. And I say that to encourage others to do so.
Minister of Public Health Waldo Lawrence said it is the opportune time to work with the ambassador to improve healthcare delivery locally.
The ambassador is here and we are looking at other aspects of cooperation. These are being looked at by my technical people to ensure that these are areas for which we need assistance and also that they are priority areas. We're also, I also spoke with him in terms of assistance where necessary in our provision of services for migrants from Venezuela.
Minister Lawrence is hopeful that the assistance received will provide training opportunities for the public health sector staff and create avenues for capacity building. The Sovereign Military Order of Malta has an effective emergency response mechanism which Guyana can tap into through the fostering of relations between the two sides. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
The first ever standalone Women's World T20 bowled off earlier today at the National Stadium Providence. New Zealand and India were the two first teams to compete at 11 hours, with India defeating New Zealand by 34 runs. This was followed by the official opening ceremony with a concert in the grass mound at 14 hours. Three-time champions Australia and Pakistan took to the field at 16 hours. Defending champions West Indies will play Bangladesh at 20 hours. Follow the matches on our website. That's all for this evening. Have a good weekend. Connect with us on WhatsApp, social media, and our website at dpi.gov.gy. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.